Shortly after his visit, Vance tweeted, "Today I met with the Holy Father, Pope Francis. I am grateful for his invitation to meet, and I pray for his good health. Happy Easter." So now we know JD Vance is bad at praying, too.
JD Vance came looking for respect. Donald Trump came craving applause. And Jimmy Kimmel handed them both a comedic beatdown so brutal it ought to come with a disclaimer. Picture two overinflated political piñatas bursting with ego, hypocrisy, and hair product, and Kimmel swinging with the precision of a man on a mission. From Vance's painfully awkward devotion to Trump to the former president's legendary meltdowns over his appearance, nothing escaped unscathed. Think late-night TV can't shatter a political bromance in less than 5 minutes? Think again. This roast serves up humiliation by the bucket load, with no filter and no forgiveness.
Zelensky headed to London to shore up support from Europe, and Trump played golf for the 10th time since taking office, and he looks terrific. He really looks terrific.
It was just another quiet night in late-night TV until Jimmy Kimmel lit up the screen with a comedy flamethrower and torched JD Vance and Donald Trump like they wandered into a solar panel during a Category 5 ego storm. And let's be real, when it comes to these two,
sometimes I wonder in what world is the Vice President of the United States calling into a giant-toothed podcast host to badmouth me and the people who watch this show.
There are these judges. Judge Boasberg comes to mind. Lots of judges who are trying to basically say the president can't exercise the powers of the presidency. You're an attorney. How do you assess the legal battles here?
Yeah, I bet all those judges are huge fans of Jimmy Kimmel, by the way. But I think, Vince, that one, we have an appeals process.
Good one, JD. You shoehorned that one in real good.
Kimmel didn't ease into his monologue. He detonated it. This wasn't a roast. It was a full-blown exorcism, purging whatever lingering scraps of credibility Vance and Trump still pretended to have. Vance, once a vocal Trump critic, now clings to him like a barnacle on a cruise ship that's already halfway underwater. And Trump? He's not just dragging around legal baggage, he's towing an entire circus tent of lawsuits, delusions, and the crumbling remains of failed reality TV storylines.
This is good, too. For whatever reason, Trump decided to send JD Vance's wife, Usha, to Greenland to meet with their realtor, I guess. I don't know why, but when they asked about it during a cabinet meeting yesterday, it didn't seem like Trump could quite remember her name.
Greenland is confused about the Second Lady and the National Security Advisor visiting this week.
I thought it would be I have great respect for the wife of our great Vice President. I think she's a brilliant woman. She's a very nice woman.
The timing was flawless. Kimmel knew exactly when to strike, and every punchline landed like a political uppercut. While the GOP fumbles to rewrite reality with crayons and conspiracy boards, Kimmel wielded humor like a scalpel, slicing through the glossy facade to expose the absurdity beneath. This wasn't just comedy. It was a forensic takedown disguised as a monologue.
Trump promised to bring down, on day one, are still going up. You know the store Dollar Tree, where everything cost $1? Because of inflation, Dollar Tree had to raise their prices to $1.25. And now, because of these big, beautiful tariffs, they're reportedly planning to raise prices again, which is a problem because the store is called Dollar Tree. And so now they've even had to make adjustments to their commercials.
Tariffs are here, and prices are heading up, up, up. But great savings are here to stay at $2 Tree, formerly Dollar Tree. Yes, with Trump's tariffs pushing prices sky high, there's no better place than $4 Tree to stretch your shrinking shopping dollar. And with Trumpflation set to explode, $8 Tree offers great selection at a price you can maybe still afford. So come on down and shop with us at make that $20 Tree. And thanks, Mr. President, you really hit it out of the park on this one. $50 Tree. Please, help us.
We'll help. That's a factor shoplifting for me. And then we have the...
If you're enjoying this, hit subscribe. Because Kimmel didn't just roast JD Vance and Donald Trump, he carved them up like a Thanksgiving turkey posted on Truth Social, stuffing each slice with razor-sharp sarcasm and garnishing the whole thing with public humiliation. It started, as it often does, with JD Vance embarrassing himself on camera. Less breaking news, more of a recurring broadcast like the weather or a Kardashian brand deal. There he was, sputtering through yet another loyalist monologue, sounding like a malfunctioning MAGA chatbot stuck in devotion mode. With the wide-eyed intensity of a man who's replaced his spine with a loyalty oath, Vance tried to spin Trump's latest legal circus into some sort of freedom fighter legend. You could practically hear the gears grinding as he attempted to turn felony charges into patriotic fairy tales. It was like watching a raccoon try to explain cryptocurrency, chaotic, bizarre, and wildly unconvincing. But Kimmel, the ever-patient surgeon of satire, didn't miss a beat. He sliced through Vance's performance like a game show host revealing the worst prize imaginable. Congratulations! You've won a lifetime of public embarrassment and absolutely no self-awareness. And according to Vance, all of Trump's indictments are just political theater. A rich take from a guy who's basically turned himself into a one-man off-Broadway tragedy.
JD Vance celebrated his Zelensky sucker punch with a ski trip. The Vance traveled to the Sugarbush Resort, which coincidentally, Sugarbush is also JD Vance's Secret Service code name. But Vance, I think he picked the wrong state to relax him, because when he got to Vermont, he was greeted by hundreds of protesters carrying signs like, "Vance is a traitor, go ski and rush."
And right on cue, Kimmel went full scorched earth. Because when a senator starts treating felonies like clerical errors, the only sane response is to roast him without mercy. He kicked off the takedown the way all great exposés do, with receipts. Enter the glorious before and after timeline of JD Vance's political transformation, the kind of whiplash-inducing flip-flop that could only be described as the soul-to-sock puppet pipeline. Once upon a time, Vance couldn't stand Trump. He talked about him like a man fresh out of a root canal. No anesthesia, just raw regret. Trump, in Vance's own words, was dangerous, toxic, and a disaster waiting to happen. That was back when Vance had a spine and a vague scent of integrity. But then, plot twist, he sniffed out the MAGA gravy train, and suddenly, Trump wasn't a walking red flag. He was Vance's new best friend. Kimmel had a field day. He rolled the clips back to back like a political blooper reel from hell. Vance slamming Trump one moment, then hugging him like a Labrador on tranquilizers the next. It was shameless. If hypocrisy were an Olympic event, JD Vance would sweep the podium, gold, silver, and bronze. And there was Kimmel, grinning the whole time like a man watching a clown try to juggle lit fireworks.
Announced that he will be attending the Pope's funeral. He said they're looking forward to being there, like he got tickets to Coachella or something. What are the chances Trump declares himself Pope? They're not zero. They are not zero. Then MAGA Teresa spoke about what Easter means to both him and America.
Speaking of special, Easter is special, and it's one of our favorite days. It's one of our favorite periods of time. We're honoring Jesus Christ, and we're going to honor
The crowd
Jesus
wasn't just
Christ
laughing because it was hilarious. They laughed because it was painfully, jaw-droppingly obvious. Watching JD Vance pretend he's been loyal to Trump all along is like watching a guy at a high school reunion claim he invented TikTok. And if you thought Kimmel was done there, think again. That was just the appetizer. Then came the main course, a sizzling montage of JD Vance's greatest hits in shameless bootlicking. There he was, defending Trump's infamous bleach injection, musings, something that really should have come with a Surgeon General's warning. Then Vance claiming Trump was sent by God, as if the Almighty woke up one day and decided what America truly needed was a spray-tanned demagogue with a Diet Coke habit and a pathological allergy to the truth. But the pièce de résistance, the Trump rally where Trump literally mocked Vance to his face while endorsing him. Trump bragged to the crowd that Vance used to despise him, but now, in his words, kisses his, well, let's say, ring. And Vance? He stood there grinning, like a man watching his dignity get steamrolled by a campaign bus, and thanking the driver.
Barbabella claims that Trump is 6'3", which he is not. He weighs 224 pounds. Just for comparison, Green Bay Packers quarterback Jordan Love is 6'4", 219 pounds. Honestly, it's difficult to tell them apart. This one's even better. This is Baltimore Ravens linebacker Kyle Van Noy, 6'3", 255 pounds. I don't know. Maybe they just weighed Trump's head. The doctor said Trump's BMI is 28. Right. And so is his next wife, by the way.
Kimmel replayed that moment like it was the Zapruder film, pausing, rewinding, zooming in on JD Vance's face as the last traces of his soul appeared to evacuate his body. If you listened closely, you could almost hear the sound of dignity, quietly packing a suitcase and heading for the Canadian border. But Kimmel didn't stop there. He wasn't just roasting Vance. He cranked the blowtorch all the way up and turned it on Trump, too. Because no late-night comedy massacre is complete without a trip through the surreal circus that is the world of the Tangelo-tinged tyrant. Trump, at this moment, is on trial for more alleged crimes than a Bond villain with a midlife crisis. And Vance? He's out here defending Trump's hush money scandal like it's a billing mix-up at the dry cleaners. According to Vance, secretly paying off adult film stars to cover up affairs is just business as usual. Presidential ethics. MAGA edition. Kimmel laughed so hard he nearly choked on his cue cards because, let's not forget, this is the same political party that once impeached a president over a consensual affair. Now they're brushing off felony charges like ketchup stains and suggesting, everyone chill out and let the man finish his Big Mac.
Today, we got the news that all of a sudden another Vance loves the concept of Greenland, too.
Hey guys, it's JD Vance, the Vice President, and you know there was so much excitement around Usha's visit to Greenland this Friday that I decided that I didn't want her to have all that fun by herself, and so I'm going to join her.
Yeah. In light of this embarrassing group chat scandal, I have decided to go thousands of miles away from here, too. If you need me...
Cue the montage. JD Vance making the rounds on conservative media, calling the entire case a witch hunt, like he's auditioning for a community theater remake of The Crucible. Kimmel couldn't help himself. He crowned Vance Salem's dumbest, witch, and even gifted him a custom pointy hat topped with a tiny Trump wig. And the best part? He still wasn't done. Kimmel hit pause on the laughs just long enough to drop some facts, because sometimes the truth is the punchline. He reminded everyone that this isn't about a single scandal. It's about Donald Trump, a man who's racked up more indictments than golf trophies, and JD Vance, a vice presidential hopeful who's basically become an unpaid legal intern with zero salary and even less self-respect. Then came the dagger twist, Vance's voting record. Kimmel laid it out plain, just in case anyone forgot that the man parading around as a working-class hero has consistently voted against things that might actually help working people. Caps on insulin prices? Nope. Expanded healthcare access? Pass. Anything remotely pro-people? Hard no, because Vance isn't for the people, he's for Trump. And possibly for Elon Musk's validation, Peter Thiel's bank account, and any podcast. Willing to give him 15 uninterrupted minutes to explain why billionaires are the real underdogs.
At this time around, Trump doesn't see... the first time around, it seemed to be an extension of The Apprentice, where he was just firing, you're fired. It was his catchphrase, and he just kept up with it. Now, do you think Pete Hegseth will get fired?
It's such an interesting question, because by all rights, he should.
Right.
He never should have been confirmed. And that's not like an ideological or partisan thing to say. He just was never actually qualified for the
in
position.
any way. Yeah.
You've now got 4 top staffers who have left.
Kimmel didn't just tear into Vance for kicks. He turned 10 minutes of late-night monologue into the most honest political commentary JD Vance has ever received. Sometimes, the only way to break through the avalanche of propaganda, sycophancy, and legal contortions is to laugh your way out of the pile. And in this case, the laugh wasn't just funny, it was surgical with a sledgehammer. And if you think it's just about one person humiliating another, think again. This matters because it shows just how deep the rot has spread when A sitting vice president gets clowned harder than a failed American Idol audition, simply because he's more loyal to a man than to the Constitution. We're not talking about a comedy bit here. We're talking about the state of democracy. JD Vance's transformation from a Trump critic to a MAGA puppet isn't just embarrassing, it's a textbook example of how quickly principles can erode into, "Please let me sniff the Sharpie, Mr. President." And the fact that it takes a late-night comedian to point this out? That's both hilarious and horrifying. So yeah, we laugh. Because what else can you do when the truth needs a punchline? Just to get heard?